Friends, today I'm back with a blockbuster action movie for you. This is Brandon, who had come to visit his father and reminisce. But suddenly, a special forces team appeared. Then, in the distance, an unknown sniper appeared. The question now was this mysterious sniper friend or foe? Given the situation, Brandon decided it was best to confront him head-on. Brandon is a renowned SEAL sniper. He had been given leave for the first time in his long career. He was relaxing at home playing a shooting game. He was irritated by the team's stupidity when suddenly, a loud helicopter sounded. Before Brandon could react, there was a powerful explosion. A fully armed Special Forces team stormed in, immediately pinning Brandon to the ground and subduing him. They were about to take Brandon away without giving him a chance when a mysterious woman nearby witnessed the whole ordeal. She had actually come to kill Brandon. But to his surprise, the CIA had reached Brandon before her. Despite her best efforts, the woman couldn't help but send a report on the foreign situation to her master. As soon as the master heard the news, he activated Plan B. Shortly after, Brandon was bound under strange circumstances and taken to a secret CIA facility. There, Agent John angrily accused Brandon of murder. The previous night, the trade minister had been shot by a mysterious sniper while giving a public speech during a crucial trade agreement between the US and Russia. This incident sent shock waves throughout the world. The CIA immediately launched an investigation and found Brandon's hair in a room near the crime scene. With such compelling evidence, all suspicion fell on him. Furthermore, Brandon's father had previously been on a mission in the same areas, but something had gone wrong. John suspected that Brandon might have avenged his father's failure by murdering the trade minister. While the two were conversing, another agent, Zero, arrived. Zero had been sent by Brandon's superior to investigate the truth. But the situation had become extremely serious. If Brandon was found guilty, the punishment would be a dark prison with no sunlight and no easy escape. Even if he were innocent, those who framed him would still not let him live in peace, tormenting him repeatedly. The situation was extremely dangerous. Meanwhile, Zero promised to completely clear the case and reveal the truth to Brandon. Agent John immediately ordered the Special Forces to take Brandon to a secret CIA interrogation room. But as the vehicle drove off, a truck suddenly skidded, blocking the road, and the escort vehicle stopped. All the occupants of the truck wore face masks. Their intentions were clear. They were about to cause a major disturbance. Seeing this, the driver immediately tried to swerve and avoid danger. The truck's path was already blocked from the front, but suddenly another truck came speeding from behind and rammed the escort vehicle. The vehicle was completely damaged and came to a halt. 5 dangerous masked men jumped out, all armed with assault rifles. They began firing without hesitation, but the escort team's Special Forces immediately returned fire. A fierce gun battle broke out between the two sides, causing many casualties. The Special Forces launched a surprise attack from behind the attackers. At that moment, the mysterious woman on the hill transformed into a cold, trained assassin. She held a sniper rifle and had been watching Brandon for a long time. In fact, this female assassin had a plan of her own. The gang attacking on the ground was acting according to her design. Once Brandon reached the interrogation room, they intended to kill him and his escorts, and later claimed he died while fleeing. But she had underestimated Brandon's strength and secret training. Brandon wasn't going to fall for an ambush so easily. Thanks to his training, he reached into the car and found the handcuff key and freed himself. He immediately grabbed a pistol and waited silently for his enemies to approach. When 2 attackers came near the vehicle, Brandon fired both guns at once. Both men fell instantly, but the danger wasn't over. The female sniper aimed directly at Brandon's head, but with his years of training, Brandon quickly lowered his head and the bullet flew past him. He now realized that a master sniper was hunting him from a distant hill. He used the bodies of the fallen Special Forces as cover and quickly retreated. A wounded assassin tried to stop Brandon, but the female sniper shot him as well since the mission had failed. Now, even her own men were eliminated. News of this incident soon reached Agent John when he learned that Russian assassins were among the dead. His suspicion grew stronger that Brandon's escape had a Russian connection. Furthermore, a Special Forces soldier had been killed by long greenfield sniping, increasing John's suspicion that Brandon's father might be involved. Tom's reputation in the sniping world was enormous. Enraged, John activated a topple alert. He wanted Brandon captured at any cost and was desperate to uncover the true motive behind the trade minister's murder. Meanwhile, Zero tried to gather crucial information from John's assistant, Juliet. While they were reviewing documents, Zero noticed a man wearing glasses. He was the owner of Novus Pharma. This was unusual because the entire speech had been attended only by trade politicians. What was the owner of a private company doing there? Zero became suspicious and decided to begin his investigation with that man. Meanwhile, Brandon, having narrowly escaped, appeared calm and composed. He abandoned his old ascot at a lumber depot to make tracking him harder. He then drove to a parking lot, hoping to leave quickly. But things weren't that simple. His strange behavior caught the attention of two officers. Even in such danger, Brandon didn't panic. In a flash, he kicked open the car door and knocked out the officer on his right. Then, with a rapid over-the-shoulder throw, he knocked out the second officer. A nearby civilian was shocked. Brandon quickly pointed a gun at him and forced him to drive the car. The terrified man obeyed without a word. After escaping the chase, Brandon pushed him out of the car and drove to Waro, his father, Tom's mountain home. After a long 6-hour drive, Brandon finally reached Tom's remote house. Seeing Brandon in such a condition, Tom realized something was terribly wrong. After dinner, Brandon expressed his fear and frustrations. He became the victim of a conspiracy. The evidence was stacked against him, and the path ahead looked hopeless. As a father, Tom encouraged him by sharing a story from his Vietnam mission. He had been assigned to eliminate a government tax officer, but couldn't find the right opportunity. Tom's partner decided to get close to the target and attack. They ended up only 5 centimeters apart. Tom had to take a long-distance sniper shot, which was extremely difficult. He missed and his partner died. This incident left a deep wound in Tom's heart, causing years of mental stress. Tom wanted Brandon to learn from that failure and face his challenges bravely. Meanwhile, in San Francisco, Zero found the man with glasses in a restaurant, giving his investigation a new lead. Zero watched as the man had dinner with a woman. When Zero approached, the man sent the women away. Zero revealed his identity and purpose. He was investigating the trade speech incident. The bespectacled man remained calm and said he had close ties with the trade minister. If the ban were lifted, his company's share would skyrocket. But now that the minister was dead, his company would be acquired by Vancouver's I Group. He told Zero to focus on those who gained the most from the murder. Zero was leaving the restaurant when Juliet called. She informed him that Brendan was now the prime suspect and that 3 escort special force soldiers had also been killed. Juliet questioned why Brandon kept trying to escape if he was really being framed. Despite her doubts, Zero chose to trust Brandon. Because of his personal connection with Brandon's father, he believed Brandon would never betray the country. Zero again requested Juliet's help. Juliet shared new information she had just gleaned. A major security breach had recently been detected in the IK Group systems. The black accountant had triggered an alarm device and then tried to enter a restricted area where he had no access. The strangest part was that when the local police arrived, the police chief suddenly stopped all officers from entering the building and ordered them to leave. After the call ended, Zero decided to travel to Vancouver and investigate the situation himself. He met Drake, the IK Group security director. Drake didn't even invite Zero into his office and behaved with complete indifference. Without wasting time, Zero asked directly, "Where's the black accountant?" He clearly stated that the accountant's role in the murder case seemed highly suspicious. Drake looked surprised and claimed the security breach had been an accident. He also said the black accountant was ill and resting at home. Drake continued making excuses. Zero didn't waste another second. He faked a handshake and left. As soon as he stepped outside, he called Juliet and asked her to investigate Drake's background. The findings revealed something shocking. Drake had been missing like a ghost for the past 5 years with no official records or trace of his activities. While Juliet was explaining this to Zero, Agent John arrived. Juliet immediately wanted to hang up because her superior had ordered her to hunt Brandon while she was secretly assisting Zero. John was furious. He warned Juliet not to interfere with Zero's work anymore. After John left, Juliet sent Zero an urgent message from Chuck. It stated that a Russian assassin had survived the previous Ascot attack and was now in the hospital receiving treatment. As soon as Zero received the update, he rushed to the hospital. He saw that the assassin was still unconscious. But Zero's only goal was to uncover the truth. The assassin's life or death meant nothing to him. Zero threatened the doctor and said, "This man is a suspect in a political assassination. Bring him back to consciousness immediately at any cost." To show he meant it, he even pulled out a gun. 10 minutes later, the assassin regained consciousness. He stayed silent when Zero questioned him, which made Zero furious. "Who hired you? Who is the boss?" The assassin said, really don't know. I just got the money and came to work." The man who hired me on the phone had a helicopter-like noise in his voice. "I don't know anything else." Zero listened carefully and realized this man wasn't lying. Zero became thoughtful and left. Meanwhile, John and his team were tracking Brandon. A letter between Brandon and Tom was found in Brandon's house. Based on the information in it, John concluded that Brandon was hiding in his father's home. Meanwhile, Zero also arrived in the same area after leaving the hospital. Zero found a photo from Brandon's military days in his room. The tall, thin man standing in the last row was none other than Drake, the security director of IK Group. Zero immediately sent the photo to Juliet so she could gather Drake's details, but surprisingly, the Drake shown in the records had died in the line of duty 5 years earlier and was wanted in a case involving the shooting of civilians. Both Zero and Juliet became deeply suspicious that Drake was no ordinary man and that the entire case was shrouded in mystery. Sometime later during his investigation, Zero located the IK Group's black accountant in an underground parking lot. Without a word, Zero grabbed him onto the hood of the car and began questioning him under duress. "Where is Drake? What is the real conspiracy?" The black accountant was utterly speechless. When Zero pointed a gun at his head, he turned pale and immediately confessed everything. He explained that some time ago, Darkhead threatened his family with a dangerous plan and forced him to help create fake documents. The real plot was that unless the trade embargo between Russia and Nova was lifted, Nova Company's shares would plummet. The mastermind sitting in the background intended to take advantage of this decline. As soon as the share fell, he wanted to force the company's sale and pocket billions in commissions. The black accountant knew this was illegal, but Drake's violence, threats, and the danger to his family forced him to side with Drake. Meanwhile, John quickly assembled a special force team and secretly arrived at Tom Mountain House. When Zero pointed a gun at his head, he turned pale and immediately confessed everything. He explained that some time ago, Darkhead threatened his family with a dangerous plan and forced him to help create fake documents. The real plot was that unless the trade embargo between Russia and Nova was lifted, Nova Company's shares would plummet. The mastermind sitting in the background intended to take advantage of this decline. As soon as the share fell, he wanted to force the company's sale and pocket billions in commissions. The black accountant knew this was illegal, but Drake's violence, threats, and the danger to his family forced him to side with Drake. Meanwhile, John quickly assembled a special force team and secretly arrived at Tom Mountain House. A dramatic life and death chase was about to begin. The team moved silently toward the wooden cabin. Little did they know, the two men inside had already detected their movements through the alarm system. Tom calmly handed Brandon a rifle and ordered him to flee. Then he moved a table, revealing a secret underground passage. Showing his courage, Tom emerged from the house with his hands raised, as if about to surrender. But just as the special forces were about to enter, a sniper bullet came flying at him with lightning speed. In reality, the female assassin had been lying in wait for Brandon to emerge so she could kill him at that moment. But the sudden intervention of the special forces disrupted her entire plan. A heavy exchange of fire began. Several of the team soldiers were killed in the hail of bullets. This shocking incident renewed John's suspicion that Brandon was behind the attack. Meanwhile, Brandon was about to flee the house when the sound of a familiar sniper shot echoed in his ears. Fearing for his father's safety, he immediately ran back to the wooden house. Returning to the house, he saw a special forces soldier lying in a pool of blood. Tom felt uneasy upon seeing his son back, but a bold plan formed. Tom deliberately positioned himself at the window holding a sniper rifle so that whoever was about to shoot would fire, exposing their position. That moment would provide an opportunity for a precise counterattack. Meanwhile, Brandon also reached the attic and began to monitor the surroundings with his sniper rifle. Now, 3 top snipers facing each other from 3 sides engaged in a tense standoff. The female assassin spotted Tom at the window and Brandon in the attic. Now she was in a dilemma about whom to target first. The female assassin thought that if she fired, her position would be exposed, but if she didn't, she would miss a perfect chance to kill Brandon. The current situation also made it difficult to escape. In a deadly confrontation between 3 top snipers, even the slightest movement could spell disaster. At that very moment, the sight of a special forces soldier's machine gun laying on the ground sparked a plan in her mind. She immediately shot the soldier in the arm. The bullet shattered the entire sandbox and caught the attention of both Brandon and Tom. Seizing the opportunity, the female assassin tried to escape quickly, taking advantage of the injured soldier's commotion. But Brandon wasn't about to let her go so easily. Tom and Brandon immediately coordinated. They began tracking in different directions to capture the female assassin alive, as this was the only way to clear their names. The female assassin was wearing a ghillie suit that made her virtually invisible in the bushes. She waited silently, staying within Brandon's firing range. As soon as Brandon came into her range, the woman carefully pulled the trigger. Just then, Tom suddenly appeared from the side and fired his sniper rifle. As the rifle discharged, Brandon seized the opportunity and attacked the woman, striking her several times with his sniper gun. The woman deadly dodged the attack and in the process threw a scimitar throwing star directly at Brandon's chest. Brandon bucked in pain as the woman quickly tried to flee. Brandon chased her. Then two flying knives came at lightning speed and a dramatic hand-to-hand combat ensued. The woman's strength was immense. Her long legs stunned Brandon. He no longer had the strength to fight effectively. The most terrifying moment came when the woman suddenly drew a dagger and stabbed Brandon. Brandon hadn't even paused from the wound in his stomach when the woman tightly bound him with a rope. Just as Brandon lay dying, Tom arrived just in time with his rifle. He coldly pointed the gun at the woman's head and ordered her to surrender. The female assassin surrendered immediately. Finally, she was captured alive. A sigh of relief filled Brandon's heart. He immediately found his Special Forces communication device and messaged John. The real culprit has been caught. Send for backup immediately. Shortly after, John arrived at the wooden house with his car to apprehend the female assassin and take her to jail for further interrogation. While getting into the car, the female assassin behaved very strangely. Her eyes were darting everywhere as if searching for someone. Brandon immediately noticed these subtle movements and advised John to call back the escort team. Brandon argued that the female assassin was very scared. Clearly, she feared being killed by her master and couldn't testify. Brandon delicately suggested that they should take advantage of this fear and offer the female assassin a deal. If she helped trap the mastermind, all the cases would be dropped and she would be free to leave the United States. John grasped the idea and immediately called back the escort team. Then he presented the deal to the female assassin. The female assassin didn't waste a moment. She immediately called Drake and lied, saying she had captured Brandon, but she added that he needed to release the remaining money or everyone would be killed. No one would survive. Drake immediately became furious. However, he wanted to deal with Brandon himself. So, he agreed to the deal and called Brandon to the hidden villa for a direct exchange. Brandon was perplexed. Why was Drake so hostile to him? Was there any personal grudge between them? The truth was revealed. 5 years ago, Brandon and Drake were on the same team. Brandon had witnessed Drake shooting innocent civilians and reported him to the foreign authorities. But before the investigation could proceed, the report stated that Drake had died. The matter had cooled down. Now the truth has come to light. Drake was not dead, but had been hiding and preparing for years, fueled by his vengeance against Brandon. Now he was determined to trap Brandon and take revenge. John, planning ahead, had Brandon wear detachable handcuffs so that if anything went wrong, Brandon could easily escape. Tom himself agreed to provide sniper support. But would everything go as the team had planned? Meanwhile, based on a previous tip from the Russian assassin, Zero identified an island inhabited by wealthy people that could be useful in the investigation. When he approached the island, he heard the same helicopter sound the assassin had described. Zero sneaked into the villa and found a family photo in the drawing room. The suspected man's son was none other than Drake. The man Zero had been searching for all along. Now it was clear the spectacled man was the true mastermind of the entire conspiracy. At that moment, Drake suddenly emerged from the side and confronted Zero. A fierce hand-to-hand battle ensued inside the villa. After some wrestling and counterattacks, Drake began to gain the upper hand over Zero. Drake seized the opportunity, grabbing Zero tightly and throwing him straight into the swimming pool. At this crucial moment, the suspected man appeared from the upper floor and stopped Drake. He had a clever plan to break Zero and make him join his team. They tied Zero to a chair and tried to lure him with money, but Zero remained firm and refused. Just as Drake was about to shoot him in anger, the female assassin brought Brandon to the villa gate as usual. Outside, Tom kept his sniper rifle fully prepared to provide immediate support if needed. The gate slowly opened. The female assassin began leading Brandon toward the building, but Drake was still cunning. He didn't come out himself, but instead forced the female assassin to bring Brandon inside. He gave the order, As soon as Brandon entered the room, Drake wasted no time in firing at the female assassin, wounding her. Seeing his opportunity, Brandon freed himself from the encirclement and counterattacked fiercely. But Drake was too strong, and Brandon was trapped in close combat. He was a sniper himself, and such a situation held no advantage for him. The two were currently fighting fiercely. It was extremely difficult for Tom to land an accurate shot from the outside. Even the slightest mistake could have killed his own son. The Vietnam incident flashed through Tom's mind. He had accidentally killed his comrade before. This time, his hands trembled with fear. Just then, Brandon's voice echoed through his earpiece. "What's bound to happen has happened, Dad. Let go of this fear. I believe in you." Hearing his son's courageous words, Tom finally mustered his courage. He took perfect aim and fired. Drake, who was right behind Brandon, fell dead on the spot. Seeing the situation worsened, the mastermind tried to escape, but the female assassin immediately shot him. The police then arrested the mastermind and the female assassin was released from SOS as per the agreement. All matters were now resolved. Relief and peace reigned. The film ends here. Thanks for watching. How did you like the film? Please share your feedback in the comments.